All righty. Got it. Let's get it. All righty. Peaceful greetings to you all. Namaste, namaste, namaste. Islam, Islam, Islam. I am Brother Hasan Ghaziel Bey here in Morocco at Northwestern Maxim. How are you? Guys, this is our 7-day tropical medical astro weather report. I was thinking about by Sunday it'll be 507 videos, and we will have completed Clock of Destiny Book 2 as well as our Holy Quran devotional countdown. And just thinking about whatever I journey into after that, whether it's still here on the internet in some way, shape, or form, doing lives, or just really just like I said, focusing more on a lot of other things that I'm in school for, so to speak, sort of, kind of, you know what I mean? Like part of 3 different major communities as far as the interest that I'm in. And it's just like, focus a little more on those things, after, of course, spending much more time as I do with, with my loved ones, actually. And just really, just embracing this graduation that's taking place, guys. Like, I'm really preparing and embracing the graduation that is taking place. However, guys, this is our 7-day tropical medical astro weather report for March. Alrighty, for the 7th through the 13th March 2024. All right. And I'm going to be very brief. I'm going to be minimalistic in my testimonies, in my diverse testimonies, and just giving flash testimonies briefly. However, I will say, guys, schedule your mirror astro literacy session. Do not be afraid, right? I guarantee you'll enjoy it. 7HealStar@gmail.com is how it can be reached, right? As well as you can text 443-376-8764. And there's many other social medias. 7HealStar is on TikTok also, and Instagram. I can be reached, there also. However, with that being said, right, what I would like to do is just, get right onto it. But before I get right onto it, right, I want to remind you guys about the next day, right? 7th, right? March 2024. About nutrition fruition. All right. I want you guys to remember, right? Let me just slide that on over, right? For Thursday, 7th March 2024 at 6 post meridian Eastern, that's 1800 Eastern, nutrition fruition with Mother Sahar L. All righty. And again, I will be sitting at her feet also. Man, when I read her bio, sheesh, man, you guys really don't want to miss out. This is someone who is quietly accomplished when it comes to nutrition. And when I read the bio that she sent me, that I will be reading at 6 p.m. for the 7th March, right, 2024. I'm actually excited about reading it, because it's short and succinct. It's packed, like, with this accomplishments that I'm just thinking is absolutely phenomenal. So I trust you all will be there. Remember, it's donation based. I know it's going to be a couple of sincere beings that are going to be there, right? And I'm just encouraging more of you to show up. You don't have to feel, any kind of way. Just donate. We do ask that it be, a respectable donation. However, nonetheless, it's a donation. That's why we're not even giving a number, right? At that point. And with that being said, I look forward to seeing you all join us via Zoom. All righty. As you can see, the Zoom is there. If you show up and you haven't given your donation, then 9 times out of 10 you'll get put back in the waiting room. or we won't let you in. So, it's all on how we have the Zoom room set up. We'll have no waiting room and people can just come in, or 9 times out of 10, we'll just make it so that I just keep adding, uh, you know, people as it happens. Make sure I have some admin that are able to let you guys in also, right? But you're going to be, you know, screen. We already have a list of who's showing up, and that's not you. So you will miss nutrition fruition. I think you guys in a time like now would be, really great to have this right before the planting season, unless some of you guys have started planting already, or you've been doing it all year round and just following the moon cycles, right? I look forward to this. I will be sitting at Mother Sahar's feet doing nutrition fruition as well. All right. So, with that being said, let me bring this on back, right? And stop the screen share there. All righty. So, we're about to get into our 7-day Tropic Medical Astro Weather Report. All right. Actually, I would like to monitor while we're doing this. Oh, computer. That fan is just a going, isn't it? All righty, fan. Right? You guys have heard that fan many and plenty of times before. It just does its own thing, has its own mindset. However, I'm going to get right to these testimonies. Just take a look-see on here. All righty. Melissa Hart says, peaceful greetings, Brother Hasan, and to everyone in the chat. And Mother Carmelisha says, Islam Moors, Brother Hasan, and 7HealStar Astrology Firm. Peaceful greetings to both the mothers. Gratitude indeed for joining me. Let's go and knock this on out, right? Let's see. All righty. So, let me go and share the screen again. Right. Alrighty, so here we have our 7HealStar Astro Calendar for March, Aries 2024 to February, Pisces 2025. Time never was when man was not. And we are quoting Al-Hajj Sheikh Sharif Abdul Ali doing religious corporate activity via affidavit being Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Gratitude indeed. Peace be unto ye. All right. And it's interesting. All rights reserved, Zodiac Constitution there. And we all know today's solar return, right? It is Charles Mosley Bay's solar return. Brother Charles, right? It is Charles Mosley Bay's solar return. Today, I think it's very interesting, so to speak, how, even on today, just seeing how there's a trine between his sun and my sun. I was just like, it's very interesting, so to speak, right? It's me and Prophet Noble Ali's sun are 180 from each other, and me and CM Bay's sun is 120 from each other, which would put roughly Prophet Noble Ali and CM Bay's sons, they're sextile from each other. So I was just kind of looking at that. Between me and Prophet Noble Ali, 180, Prophet Noble Ali and CM Bay, 60, between CM Bay and I, 120. I was just kind of looking at that like, that is rather interesting, right? And it's also Emmanuel Benbey Muali's solar return, who has been misnomered as Benjamin Banneker, all righty, because if I'm not mistaken, he manifested 1735, March 6, 1735. So it's very interesting, if I'm recalling all of these things correctly, right? Just to kind of, see how that energy is moving, right? Anyhowser. So, guys, we're here for the moon cycle that has the water sign Pisces, the fish, anciently and contemporarily ruled by Jupiter. However, in modern astrology and contemporary astrology, the co-ruler is Neptune. And this particular moon cycle or month has the fire sign Aries, the ram, anciently and contemporarily ruled by Mars. So we're looking at the 7th through the 13th. And you see there's one transit there as Luna's continuing its transit through Aquarius, guys. Remember, we're still in a void of course moon as we speak right now. And if I didn't remind you, if you guys weren't aware, last night at about 1 minute after 2000 hours Eastern, right? So that was 8:01 post meridian Eastern, right? 8:01 p.m. Eastern. A Kadashi TT has started, and it is over at 1744 Eastern. 5:44 post meridian Eastern. That is 5 p.m. Eastern when a Kadashi is over today. And it's very interesting because the moon went void of course between 2:35 p.m. and will remain void of course until 7:38 p.m. tonight. And after that moon void of course, Luna will ingress Aquarius, as I went over last Wednesday, speaking about that. And so La Luna is continuing its transit during, transit through Aquarius. Will square Jupiter on the 7th. On the 8th, on Holy Day, there's 4 transits there, and Luna making its last aspect conjunct to Venus. And then there will be a 6-hour and 8-minute void of course moon from approximately 1:55 p.m. Eastern. That's 1:55 post meridian Eastern, 1300 hours, 55 minutes Eastern, until 2000 hours, 3 minutes Eastern. All right, that is 8:03 post meridian Eastern. All right. Then on the 9th, there are 4 transits there, and Mercury is obviously in its void of course type energy. It will ingress. Mercury will ingress Aries also. So looky, Astro Cookie for the 9th. All right. On the 10th, when you guys wake up on the 10th, you may find that the clocks, even though time never was and man was not, your clocks may be an hour ahead. So when it turns 2 o'clock, it'll be 3 o'clock in the morning. So it'll be from 1 anti-meridian Eastern to 3 anti-meridian Eastern, depending on where you guys are. All righty. So I think that's rather interesting, right? So with that being said, we see that we have a total of 6 transits here. However, in the middle, we see that Luna is void of course, making its last transit conjunct to Neptune for 4 hours and 34 minutes. Luna will be void of course. So we already know moon void of course is buyer's remorse, make no major decisions or major transactions during the moon void of course. All right. However, yes, the 10th is considered quote unquote daylight savings time, right? So you may find, and that's the same day that a new moon is taking place. Looky, Astro Cookie, all right? Find that rather interessante, all right? Which I'm going to see as I'm doing this if my software has these things correct, because we can see the calendar is going to show the right time. I want to see if the software is caught up, because sometimes you got to make the adjustments, but I'll be aware. I'll look at it as I'm doing it, and I'll let you guys know. All right. For the 11th, Venus, obviously void of course also, because it will ingress its exaltation sign Pisces on the 11th. That will be the only happening on the 11th. On the 12th, we have 3 transits, and the moon will be void of course after the first transit for 13 hours, 20 minutes. 13 hours, 20 minutes. Looky, Astro Cookie. That is thoroughly interessante. Make no major transactions between 7:08 anti-meridian Eastern and 2028 anti-meridian Eastern. Well, 2028 Eastern period. Right? Because we have the 24-hour clock and we're saying the 100 hours. There's no need to specify ante-meridian or post-meridian. I stand corrected. Then on the 13th, just those last two transits there, it's interesting how, for the 7th, Luna squares Jupiter, but we'll be closing out with a lunar conjunct Jupiter, all right? So starting out with the transits for the 7th, it will be dealing with an obstacle or overcoming an obstacle or challenging oneself to overcome an obstacle collectively, and then being in harmony with the growth therefrom, right? So let's get it started, all right? Let's come on, Bizak to here. And let's get our screen share on. Right. So here we go. Sunrise for the 7th March 2024. It's happening at 0600 hours, 33 minutes, and 41 seconds, as we can see here. All righty. At 17 degrees Pisces, 23 minutes. 17 degrees is a Leo degree. Sun being here in Pisces, and even the sun ruling over the 6th house, I think here is where we will have a mind to find a way of creatively expressing ourselves in our daily routine, maybe even at work, whatever your craft is, whether you work from home or you journey somewhere else. And with that, making sure that before you do that, you are being, creatively spiritual, maybe some wisdom that you may come across in the form of art or some another way of expression that you may observe, and you may find yourself actually adopting that as you go throughout your day. The first, I can just do it here, can't I? That's what I shall do. So I'll be able to check here, and I'll also still monitor, all right, guys? What we have, of course, we have Luna squaring Jupiter for the 7th. So lunar Jupiterian quartile taking place at 1600 hours, 7 minutes, and 41 seconds. Luna's here in the 6th house at 12 degrees. Aquarius, 32 minutes. So here is where we have an idea of, maybe the people feeling isolated or people enjoying a bit of isolation. However, maybe even at a restaurant, all right? So with that being said, or trying to have a sense of privacy at a restaurant, the challenge, so to speak, will come from the fact that, maybe this is a school trip, possibly. Maybe people are finding a means to be able to be comfortable while they're out and about. Maybe this is a group activity. Maybe it's a large party that someone is actually waiting at the tables for, may need some assistance. And I think here is where securing a bit of that privacy, so to speak, securing a bit of being isolated from others, even though this is a group outing. I'm just really seeing that one energy that really stands out is this is where the people will be able to, expand in a way as there being multiple seating, because it's a group. However, people are going to be looking for a means to be comfortably private while eating at tables with those within the group that they actually would like to converse with. All right. So that's that only transit for the 7th. Sunrise for the 8th. Is taking place at 0600 hours, 32 minutes, and 9 seconds for the 8th March 2024 is having at 18 degrees. Pisces, 23 minutes. And with this energy here, this is where, you know, when you get up, maybe you like to take your, if you have a pet that you like to walk, maybe walking this pet, maybe also making sure what is needed for the pet is necessary. So maybe, you know, the day before you went and got the victuals, the food necessary for your particular pet. And so you're making sure that they're secure as you go about your day. All right. So what I'm seeing here is making sure that the wisdom in caring for your four-legged loved ones, or maybe there's another kind of pet that you have that only walks on two legs, and you're making sure that you have the sustenance necessary for them. All right. So the first aspect, which is actually taking place previous to sunrise, it is a lunar Martian conjunction. And that lunar Martian conjunction is taking place at 0100 hours, 50 minutes, and 47 seconds. Luna's at 18 degrees, Aquarius 34 minutes in the second house. And that's where Mars is also, because this is a conjunction. So here, just having a active work spirit. It's very interesting too how the sun is also at 18 degrees. So when it comes to one's daily routine, when it comes to one's health, I think here is where people will 9 times out of 10 really focus on their water intake. I think people will be exercising a lot, paying attention to their health. I think that this sense of beauty and health consciousness is really about to really blast off, especially with Venus soon to ingress Pisces, its exaltation sign. So there's a lot of preparation for one to have their daily routine. You may even see on the internet, because this is Aquarius, and Aquarius is not only electronics, but broadcasting. You may even see things on the internet where it will be getting pushed a lot more about exercise, and the people broadcasting how they would like their activities to be when it comes to valuing, you know, themselves in a healthy fashion, right? Again, the health and exercise and working out and getting from the 18, degrees, which is a Virgo degree. All right. The next aspect, we have a lunar Uranian quartile taking place. And that lunar Uranian quartile is taking place at 0300 hours, 50 minutes, and 10 seconds. Luna's at 19 degrees Aquarius, 49 minutes in the first house. Uranus is at 19 degrees Taurus, 49 minutes in the fourth. And here I think this is where the people can, take on the sudden changes and feel secure about the sudden changes they're going to make in their values, and maybe a shock to their loved ones. However, I think collectively speaking, everyone is seeing and sensing that there is a need to really make sudden changes in the structure of, the things that they're doing, and really be able to find a way to accomplish those things that were seemingly hidden from them in terms of not having time to do things. I think people are going to be making the time. This is going to be a lot of people collectively making sure that self-preservation is on the table for them, so they can actually feel better about being around others, pouring into your own cup first so that you can be able to overflow for others. Next, we have a Mercurial Neptunian conjunction. And we know Mercury transiting Pisces is in its quote unquote fall sign, for it is exalted in Virgo, right? Even though I think, I kind of even go with certain ancients speaking on Mercury being exalted in Aquarius, actually. And I think Mercury does pretty good in Aquarius, even though it's not even in sidereal Aquarius anymore, it being at 26 degrees even in this chart. However, if we're moving forward and looking at this conjunction between Mercury and Neptune. It's taking place at 1000 hours, 5 minutes, 49 seconds. And Mercury and Neptune are conjunct at 27 degrees, which is a Geminian degree, right? Very Gemini degree. 27 degrees, Pisces, 1 minute in the 11th house. Here, instituting a group communication is very paramount here. And making sure that the details to even set up that group communication, maybe it's a panel, maybe it's a forum, maybe it's something that is a community meeting, town hall meeting even. This is where making sure how that is structured is really going to be coming to the forefront. Because there's a lot that people like to express that they think hasn't been expressed to alleged people in government, PIGs, right? People in government. And with that being said, I know that the structure, alrighty, the infrastructure, so to speak, the institutionalizing of the communication about what people like to speak on, I think this is where it's going to get voiced. And if not, I think the people are going to be collectively coming together without fail. They're not going to let any amount of threats or anything overtake them, for they see that justice needs to be served on a collective scale and stop allowing public trustees to get away with what they're getting away with. And that's very huge, what I'm seeing within that particular transit there. Next, Luna is conjunct Venus. All right. Islam, C. Thomas says, Islam to you, my beloved brother. Next, at about 1300 hours, 55 minutes, and 25 seconds, Luna is making its last aspect before egressing Aquarius and then ingressing Pisces. Luna's conjunct Venus at 26 degrees. Aquarius, 8 minutes. 26 degrees is a Cancerian degree. And this is taking place in the 8th house. What's very interesting about this, even with Saturn actually there, given its traditional rulership over this, 22 degrees to 28 degrees, Aquarius is the astrological area, the astrological degrees. And here I think the people are going to really value astrology. People are going to take this chance, some way, shape, or form, to really look at the astrology, really see what is actually taking place here. And again, I further encourage you to schedule your Mirror AstroLiteracy session with Brother Hasan Ghazi Obey. And if you would like to only have an hour's worth of time with me, schedule that as well, so that we can start getting you on the ball and get on the roll of being able to just map out your life. This is it. Remember, I do what I do for our social and economic resolve. That's the only way I see astrology being helpful and useful, is for our social and economic resolutions. All right. So with that being said, this is where the people are going to really value the astrology, and they're going to really take on recognizing the inheritance in the spiritual structure pertaining to astrology, and being able to enjoy and thoroughly embrace self-reflection. Luna's void of course for 6 hours and 8 minutes. So for those 6 hours and 8 minutes, make no major decisions in the moment or major transactions, while Luna egresses Aquarius and then ingresses Pisces. And it's taking place at 2000 hours, 3 minutes and 10 seconds. Luna ingresses Pisces in the 5th house. And here, I think, having an isolated moment, elders with youth, mother and father with children, the people collectively expressing themselves spiritually. However, also having a creative isolated moment. And here in the creative isolated moment, this is where people can embrace their own talents, see what it is that they're good at, and then move forward on the decision to bring that out even further and even have it so that they are compensated for their talent. Next, we're going into the 9th. Sunrise is taking place for the 9th at 0600 hours, 30 minutes, 33 seconds, 19 degrees, Pisces, 23 minutes is where Sol is. Sun at 19 degrees, Pisces, 23 minutes, still ruling over the 6th house. Here is, a sense of Libra here. 19 degrees is a Libra degree. The 6th house cusp is on 7 degrees. Leo, 41 minutes. 7 degrees is a Libran degree. And bringing to light the justice that is necessary pertaining to institutions abroad. I think here an evaluation of the daily operations of institutions are really going to be brought to the forefront. In some way, shape, or form, there is a collective transformation that is taking place. The people are not taking the unfairness that's being done by rogue actors. All right. When I say rogue actors, we're speaking about people that are quote unquote in alleged government, sitting seats as politicians, judges, and attorneys. There's a redemption on behalf of the people that is taking place where a lot of removing is happening. Recusals and removals are taking place. All right. Well, after sunrise, Luna and Saturn are conjunct. And it's taking place at 1300 hours, 23 minutes. 1300 hours, 22 minutes, and 45 seconds to be exact. And they are conjunct in the 9th house at 10 degrees, Pisces, 59 minutes, almost 11 degrees. Some will say once you're past the degree, right, at 10 minutes and at 10 degrees, 1 minute, it's within the 11th degree, right? So in astrology, even though I would say, hey, 10 degrees is the Capricornian degree, right? It's a Capricorn degree. It would be considered from 10 degrees 1 minute to 11 degrees to be within the 11th degree, right? Because even if you think about your solar return, on your solar return, you're actually celebrating a completion of a certain amount of years, right? So let's say you're 33. And when you turn 33, you're actually celebrating the completion because now you're entering the 34th year, right? So that's how it is in astrology also. So technically this would be all the degrees, once they're past, whatever the degree is, 0 minutes mark, then it's within that next degree. All right. However, with 10 being the Capricornian degree and 11 being the Aquarian degree, all Saturnian though, however, because both Capricorn and Aquarius is ruled by Saturn traditionally. However, here is when it comes to people learning about the law pertaining to real estate, because when I'm seeing the moon and Saturn together, it's making me think about the 180-degree axis between Cancer and Capricorn. And with that being said, I think when people pay attention to what actually governs real estate, there will be many people having an unveiling that they have been doing things to have food, clothing, and of course shelter that they should not have been doing has been unqualified. And there's a lot of practices that has been taking place that if people actually recognize that what they've been doing has been out of harmony with how the federal, state, and local quote unquote laws are written, the statutes, ordinance, and codes are written, then people have been acting in a capacity that they actually never qualified to act in. Alrighty. And this is why that the heads of all government, which is just the beneficiaries, are the heads of all government, because government is instituted for the benefit of the beneficiaries, which means those that are working, sitting those seats of alleged government are just trustees and trustees alone. All right. And so a lot of instruction is going to take place, even though a real trustee would make sure things are being done, period, without, just having to be, instructed what to do. Sometimes, doing things because it's the right thing to do when you're in that position, I think would make for a much better interaction between public trustees and beneficiaries. All right. So with that being said, Luna is going to sextile Jupiter. So there's a 60-degree aspect between Luna and Jupiter, taking place at about 1600 hours, 24 minutes and 2 seconds. Luna's there, 12 degrees Pisces. 12 degrees is a Piscean degree, right? So it's like seeing double Pisces. However, in the 7th house. So here the people are really looking to, relate to what's been institutionalized, even when it comes to analyzing not only government, but just even, their spirituality. What is religion actually? What is the difference between, religion and dogma? I think that people are going to be really weighing that out. And really, I think, I trust people will begin to comprehend the words that are being said and really seeing if belief is actually relative to knowing, right? Instead of, belief just being a stepping stone to knowing. I think this is where the people will be able to find an opportunity in making sure that they grow in their knowledge to come out of the darkness into marvelous light, so that they can be able to put in the forefront of their minds that which is necessary to actually make sure they know what has been communicated to them, correcting their concepts, and then being able to better communicate to others. All right. Next, we have Mars squaring Uranus. So there's a Martian-Uranian quartile that is taking place. And it's taking place at about 1700 hours, 55 minutes and 3 seconds. That's a 555, right? 3 seconds thereafter, right? Because that is 5:55:03 post meridian Eastern. And again, this is still for the 9th of March, 2024. Mars is at 19 degrees Aquarius, 52 minutes. In the 5th house, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 houses later, Uranus is at 19 degrees towards 52 minutes in the 9th house. All right. So here, being actively making sudden changes, all right, in one's self-expression based off of what one has learned. You've done some study, you see that there needs to be a sudden change in your values so that you can better balance your activities amongst your loved ones or those that you actually may work in some type of creative grouping. Alrighty, maybe you work in music, maybe you work in film, maybe you're someone who works with your family from home. And I think here, with what's being learned, is being implemented in a way where the sudden change in values are allowing for a very comfortable and I don't want to say profitable, but very comfortable and advantageous balance. All right. Sun, sextile, Uranus. Oh, Sun sextile Uranus. Looky, looky. Astro cookie after that square. All right. Sun is sextile Uranus, and it's taking place at 1800 hours. Oh, hold on. I went a little too fast there. Let me go back. Previous. 1800 hours, 0 minutes, 48 seconds. All right. Sun's at 19 degrees Aquarius. Pardon me. Sun's at 19 degrees Pisces, 52 minutes in the 7th house. And Uranus is still there. All right. So this was only roughly 5 minutes and some change apart. You know, maybe even, yeah. About 5 minutes and some change apart. All right. It's very interesting too to see that. And it's about 5 minutes and 45 seconds apart to be exact. So with that being said, continuing with even, with this, just being active and balancing the sudden changes that need to take place, right? This is the force to make changes kind of energy. Here also being relatively creative, and that's why I said even working with relatives here, we can better institute the balance that is necessary based off of all that we're learning. Because I think what's going to really be seen most of all is that people are going to recognize that we all need each other more, alrighty, than not. And I think a lot of the resolve is going to have to take place first amongst relatives accepting their relatives. All righty. So the healing of all family feuds, of all pettiness between loved ones that are kin, that there's going to have to be a major healing that's going to take place because the sudden changes are necessary for to have continual resources and for the means of survival, so to speak. All right. So after that, with a void, of course, Mercury now egressing Pisces. You see Mercury's there at 29 degrees Pisces, 36 minutes. It will ingress Aries. All right. Hey, Brother Tyro says, peace and love, everyone. Peace and love, Brother Tyro. So Mercury ingresses Aries, all right, at 2300 hours on the 9th, about 3 minutes thereafter. 2300 hours, 2 minutes and 42 seconds to be exact. Mercury ingresses Aries within the 5th house. Look at that. That's 2 ingresses happening in the 5th house. That's very interesting. Luna ingressed Pisces in the 5th house, and now Mercury ingressing Aries in the 5th house. Here, an announcement. It might come from someone in leadership, maybe someone who you may look up to, or someone who is at the forefront of something. There's an announcement that's going to be made. Right. And that announcement is going to, really make people focus on their loved ones and their little ones. Right. And when I say loved ones, those that you're in a committed relationship with, so to speak, there's going to be a huge focus on that. And to the point where I think there's going to be a conversation with the heads of many families, no matter what the generation is. There's going to be a meeting of the minds that is thorough, that is needed for a thorough change, actually. And if I'm not, hold on, I might be mistaken here. Let me double check this. That Mercury is actually in the 4th house. which makes it even more that the heads of families. It's funny how I even said what I said. So Mercury is at 0 degrees, Aries, 0 minutes, and the fifth house cusp is at 2 degrees, Aries, 13 minutes, if you guys can see that, which means that Mercury is actually in the fourth house. So I stand corrected, forgive me. So this is even more that the heads of families are going to have conversations, seriously. So it may be, 3-4 generations that are going to really have to have a meeting of the minds and have a conversation that's paramount, because a frame of thinking from maybe 30 years ago, 40 years ago is not suitable in any way, shape, or form for those thinking about how things are today. All right. So I think, that is very strong for that Mercury ingressing Aries. And you probably, maybe there's some of you out there already having serious conversations with loved ones, because, the mindset of 30, 40 years ago and survival is not, it doesn't work today. I mean, what do you guys think? You guys in the chat, put a 1 in the chat if you guys think that the mindset for having resources 30, 40 years ago, is the mindset that can be had today, right? In order to have everything that you need. That's why I really think there's going to be a lot of people having a community type of conversation. And it's got to start first with loved ones. And there's going to be a lot of people probably, having a chosen family kind of community where everyone who can kind of think around the same realm are going to be together. All right. So for the 10th, as we recall, right? Hey, Mother Sahar puts a 1 in the chat. Yeah, Mother Sahar, things are a lot different than they were 30, 40 years ago, right? I know I'll only be 40 this year, and I'm pretty sure 30, 40 years ago, finances were a little easier to utilize to get a lot of food. You might have a certain amount of finances and you would get a lot of groceries for about 40, 50, 60, debt notes, considering one still being under occupation, right? However, nowadays, you can barely fill your cart, and it'll be 100 units. Spend 100, 150 units. You might only come home with about 4 or 5, maybe 6 bags, if that. Right? So, hey, see, Mother Sahara says, so true. I just wanted to make sure I'm being, competent and consistent with reality. I hope I'm here on Earth, right? I think that a lot of people don't recognize that. Sunrise for the 10th is happening at 20 degrees, Pisces, 23 minutes. 20 degrees being a Scorpio degree, right? So I think here, some creativity pertaining to one's psychology and spirit. Maybe here is where you can have a internal play date between spirit and mind, all right, by means of soul, right? Soul, right? Because between spirit and body, or spirit, and actually between spirit and mind, right, is soul, right? Even though the mind would be the seat for the soul, right? However, what that does, and it's interesting how this is at a Scorpio degree, 20 degrees a Scorpio degree, and then the 6th house cusp is at 8 degrees, another Scorpio degree. So when it comes to psychological health, I think it will be really based on bringing to light people not having a outrageous, outlandish, and belief-based thinking. It's going to have to be leveled with some sincere mindset pertaining to actually recognizing what is currently healthy for one's spirit and mind, which ultimately will help one to make decisions with their soul for their body. All right. Before sunrise, we have a lunar Uranian sextile. Lunar Uranian sextile, right? So there's this opportunity between home and sharing, right? And it's interesting, really, even speaking on home and sharing and that opportunity, and speaking about, families having to come together and sense of community and things of that nature, right? So Luna, 19 degrees, Pisces, 53 minutes, within the second house, and 1, 2, 3 houses later. In Taurus at 19 degrees, 53 minutes in the fourth house is Uranus. And again, this is where the people, right? It's interesting, it's the fourth house, right? Sharing a balance, right? That 19 degrees again, right? Libra degree, balance, right? Because valuing home and finding the balance in valuing home, the people are going to have to be able to share. And this particular sharing is going to have to take place where ones are recognizing that even what they thought was going to help them with as far as the law, people are recognizing that there are beings who are radically threatening their homes. And so this is where, again, even living together, at least in the mind, so to speak, of having a mindset and a mind frame to protect one's property, innovatively protecting one's property, protecting the property that you value. And even when it comes to property value, you're seeing now it's no longer based in the Federal Reserve note as ones would do for banking, but seeing that it is definitely happening by one's own spiritual values, and how that property is being assessed by those who are unfairly using the legal system to abuse being officers of the court. We have a new moon taking place, right? And that first aspect, of course, I wanted to share with you that you see how it says 300 hours, 22 minutes, and 14 seconds, but my calendar says 4:22. All righty. And so that means that my software, until we get past that date, my software is still reading this as the daylight savings hasn't happened, but this is happening at 400 hours, 22 minutes, and 14 seconds to be exact. It's happening at 400 hours, 22 minutes, and 14 seconds to be exact, right? So when I go into this solar lunar conjunction, it's not going to take place at 400 hours Eastern. It's taking place at 500 hours Eastern. All right. So the new moon taking place, and as I said, see, it's not actually 400 hours, 0 minutes and 12 seconds. It's actually 500 hours, 0 minutes and 12 seconds, because allegedly the daylight savings time. And it's taking place at 20 degrees. And this is still before sunrise. 20 degrees Pisces, 17 minutes. And this is taking place within the second house. And here, a new beginning. Alrighty, a new beginning going behind the scenes and looking at what debts are actually supposed to be owed that are instituted for the value that people have put on these institutions. And when the people go to evaluate these institutions and what they've been doing and going behind the scenes and auditing them, that's another key term for 20 degrees would be audit, when we're even thinking about debts and taxation and things of that nature. Actually auditing, those that are supposed to be the leaderships, the leading lights, right? They're going to be audited to see if what they've been instituting has really been for the benefit of the people. And I think It's a lot that's going to get unveiled even more because there's not any protection for these people in government as much as they think. It's a very thin veil. And you guys are going to see some things transpire. Just keep watching the news. If you still get a newspaper and read a newspaper, read that. All right. Or you getting your news from the newspaper's website, you guys will begin to see there's something that's definitely taking place here. All right. Luna's conjunct Neptune next. And this is taking place about 10 hours later. All right. And it's taking place at 1500 hours, not 14. 1500 hours, 45 minutes, and 12 seconds. Luna and Neptune are conjunct at 27 degrees, Pisces, 6 minutes in the 8th house. And again, this is where the people are, it's funny because even when it comes to people in prison, because, incarceration is another key term for Neptune or even Pisces in the 12th and the 12th house, right? However, I even think when it comes to people being incarcerated, it's going to be those that actually have not appropriately fulfilled their obligation to the people. So you guys are going to be seeing more and more beings that are either judges, attorneys, police, sheriffs, other people in politics. A lot of them are going to it's going to be not only communicated, it's going to be it's a sense of how it's going to be published and shared, even to the point where people trying to communicate to defend themselves in churches is not going to it's not going to happen. It's not going to help them, right? Because the people are looking for justice to be served on those that were supposed to have been the public servants that have committed trustee malfeasance on a very large scale. This is Luna's last aspect before going aboard a course for 4 hours and 34 minutes. So between 1500 hours, 45 minutes Eastern, and 1800 hours, 2000 hours, 19 minutes. So between 3:45 p.m. and 8:19 p.m. Eastern. Make no major transactions because Luna is void of course. Alexander Dix Bay, what's up, bro? He says peace and love. Peace and love to you also, bro. So while Luna's void of course, before it egresses Pisces and then ingress Aries, there's a sextile between Mercury and Pluto, it's looking like. Sextile between Mercury and Pluto. So it's a growth opportunity to some transformational communication. Mercury, 1 degrees Aries, 28 minutes, still in the 7th house, under the dispositorship, of course, of Jupiter and Neptune. Mm-hmm. However, again, like I said, I'm just going to go real brief, not going to go into detail. I'm just giving you guys insightful, intuitive testimonies here. Pluto's there at 1 degree. Aquarius, 28 minutes in the 5th house. These are 3 houses apart. So 1 degree is an Aryan degree. So really, Mercury is really spearheading a communication relative to leadership and the transformational sudden changes that must take place to the point where the people are finding creative ways of expressing the sudden change and transformation that needs to take place immediately, to the point where people are bringing forth and out loud bringing forth penalties of treason. Our brother Tyro had shared a video with me this morning that was actually happening in that particular video. These Albion sons and daughters near the Arizona State Republic had put some documentation together to basically serve those of the whoever are the politicians for Arizona, the state of Arizona, right? Because they're vendors, they're working for a vendor. But the people pertaining to the Arizona State Republic were actually doing that, serving these people and letting them know that the penalties of treason is death by hanging. All right. We just kept highlighting. You all know the penalties for treason, don't you? That's what this is. Albion daughter was not playing at all. All right. Luna completes its void of course as it egresses Aries. And that's taking place at about 2000 hours. 19 minutes and 2 seconds. All righty. Guys, remember too that this is reading still as if the daylight savings time hasn't taken place. However, it has. All right. And what you'll see possibly next Wednesday, if I decide to go live to do a weather report, right? Mother Sahars, she's applauding penalty for treason. Yes, indeed, right? If I do a weather report next Wednesday, right, you guys will see that it will be adjusted, right? I noticed that this software does that. I would have to, I think, shut it down and bring it back up, close it and reopen it. But there's no point in doing that when I can just verbally just tell you that this is 2000 hours, 19 minutes, and 2 seconds when Luna ingresses Aries, alrighty, in the 6th house. Alrighty. And I think here's where, the people are making a decision to make sure they are completely being the head, reconnecting that panopticon on the back of the one note, because it looks like the panopticon, that eye, is separated from the bricks on that pyramid. This is where that reconnection is going to be taking place even more. The people are going to make sure that they are making it a part of their daily routine to really tighten the reins on the horse that is the trustees that they have, quote unquote, allegedly voted for. All right. So with that being said, this is where, the people, and all it is to take the strain of indentured service, because since slavery and indentured service is unlawful, is illegal and unlawful, this is why the people who are going to be falsely called, sovereign citizens, or going to be called patriots, or going to be called something that is actually opposite of what their intention is and what they're actually doing, by people who do not want to be disciplined for their lack in fulfilling their obligation. So here I can see the people who are going to spearhead the daily routines when it comes to leadership. They're not playing. All righty. When it comes to leadership, people are definitely taking their reins. Like, you guys look at any CAFR report, you guys can Google CAFR and whatever state near you. If it's, the Maryland State Republic, you can type CAFR Maryland. You'll get a comprehensive annual financial report, or it'll say annual comprehensive financial report. And in that, what you'll see is a diagram that shows the quote unquote state government. And you can do this for any state republic. And you'll see in that diagram that the head of all governments is the people. It is not, the heads of legislation, the heads of the executive branch, which is the governor, or the head of the judicial branch is the chief judge of the state, right? The speaker of the house of the state, the governor of the state, and the chief judge of the state. They are only lead servants. And the people reconnecting their consciousness to that structure, like reconnecting that eye on the back of the one note, will thoroughly begin to make sure they have tightened the reins on that wild horse, or seemingly gone wild horse, that is the public trustees. All right. So moving forward after that, Luna and Pluto are sextile. That's what it's looking like. It's looking like a Luna Plutonian sextile that's taking place. So that lunar Plutonian sextile is next, taking place at about 2200 hours, 38 minutes and 6 seconds. Again, 2200 hours, 38 minutes and 6 seconds after, the alleged daylight savings time beginning on the 10th March 2024. Luna's at 1 degree, Aries 28 minutes. In the 5th house, Pluto in the 3rd house at 1 degree, Aquarius 28 minutes. Here, very, very interestingly, if we just even looked at this briefly, I'll do this briefly for you guys so you guys can see it, right? 1 degree, right? Degree of a surgeon and organizer when it comes to Aries, but 1 degree Aquarius is still homicide. That's a homicide degree. So it may be something that pops up, right? She's 0 to 5 degrees is homicide. So there may be something that may come forward about some type of organized crime, quote unquote, done by, if not a surgeon, maybe even someone who's allegedly a doctor of some sort. And what's going to actually be communicated here is, even more, I think it's going to be a force to make changes for those people who are in or have alleged to be in the medical field. There's going to be quite the hammer coming down on those people, because what's actually going to happen is there's going to be a communication that is going to really shine the light. It's going to put a spotlight on the negligence that has been done by people who have allegedly taken a Hippocratic oath to do no harm. And so in not doing harm to people, the people are going to be bringing up all the harm that has occurred. All right. Next, Luna is conjunct Mercury. And Luna conjuncts Mercury at 2300 hours, 14 minutes, and 47 seconds. It's happening at 1 degree. And again, the 1 degree is dealing with the surgeon, right? An organizer, right? As we saw, I just brought that up very briefly just for you guys to just see, right? Degree of the surgeon and organizer. But 2 degrees is the degree of abscesses, literary and poetic, which is very interesting too. So maybe here, people may be saying something about some famous author or poet that, maybe even getting some kind of award for their creativity. However, also, if you're someone who is, let's say you're dealing with an oral abscess, right? Maybe an abscess within your jawline or something like that. I think it probably would be good here to make sure that is taken care of. All right, and make sure there's a decision being made to take action into relieving yourself so you can enjoy yourself, right? Or maybe on this day, that's when the relief, if you have an abscess, will actually take place. All right. Sunrise for the 11th is taking place at about 0700 hours and 28 minutes. All right. Down a little too far. Sunrise for the 11th is taking place at 0700 hours, actually. All right. 0700 hours. All right. 27 minutes and 30 seconds. So even when I did sunrise for the 10th, if I say 6:29, I meant to say 7. 29. Make sure I'm keep putting that hour ahead placement for the alleged daylight savings time. All right. 21 degrees, Pisces, 23 minutes. 21 degrees is a Sagittarian degree. And very interestingly, the sixth house cusp for Leo's at a Sagittarian degree, also at 9 degrees, 10 minutes, while the sun is at 21 degrees, Pisces, 23 minutes. So here, the benefit of one's everyday studies is definitely going to be on your mind. You're going to sit here and have this thought to yourself, like, you know what? I'm really glad that I took this time to study when I studied, how I studied, for however long I studied, because now I can be able to make a decision to move forward a certain way so that I can interact not only with inside myself a certain way with my own thoughts, but be able to better find how I'm going to interact with others outside of myself, right? Mother Sahara says tea tree essential oil is excellent for treating an abscess. Indeed. So maybe that's what you guys would like to do for that moon conjunct Mercury that's taking place, right, at 1100 hours, about 1100, 2300 hours and 15 minutes approximately, what I had did previous before the sunrise, all right? So, and guys, don't forget, Mother Sahar is going to give that nutrition fruition presentation tomorrow, right? Next day, Thursday, 7th March, 2024 at at 6 post meridian Eastern. That's 1800 hours Eastern. All right. And guys, remember, it's just a donation to join and writing via the Cash App. All right. So here we're going to be able to really shine a light on, as far as even just being thankful, being very thankful about the way we studied and our daily routine pertaining to study, and probably even finding that you have this this flow. You have gotten a flow. You don't have this struggle or this rut. You might have been trying to think to yourself, how do I really, discipline myself to study this way, or X, Y, and Z? And you're going to find that you have a flow. You've gotten into a zone with study where you have your own routine now, where it's even fun for you in how you analyze and research different literary works. Later on this day, and it's the only event that's taking place, unless you've got whatever going on in your daily transits, and if you don't have your transits and you don't know how your days to come and looking ahead of time are going to go, schedule your Mirror AstroLiteracy session with our brother Hasan, guys. And if you're, and if you want just an hour session, schedule that also. I will still always encourage you to schedule a Mirror Astrology session so that you can not ever again in life be intimidated by looking at the astrology and reading it and comprehending it, because again, it's for our social and economic resolve. All right, I want you to have social and economic resolution. All right, at least that being your mindset. And it knowing the astrology, being astroliterate, leads to social and economic resolution. Venus ingressing its exaltation sign within the sixth house, and it's taking place at 1700 hours, 50 minutes, and 15 seconds. I know it says 16, but remember, we are compensating for the fact that this is after the alleged daylight savings time. It's taking place on Sunday, on the 10th. And here is where, that finding the beauty in that daily routine, guys. This is how I know that mental and physical exercise are definitely on the forefront. And when it comes to healthy foods, people are going to thoroughly be paying attention to eating healthily. Even people are going to, 9 times out of 10, be trying and making a solid decision on not eating any more animal byproducts by seeing what tasty quote unquote vegan options are out there, to the point where people are going to make these sudden changes in their home to make sure they have everything that is necessary to be able to eat that way. All right. Next, we have a sunrise taking place on the 12th. And it's taking place at 700 hours, 0700 hours, 25 minutes, 58 seconds at 22 degrees. Pisces, 23 minutes. Very interesting. That's a Capricorn degree. However, the sixth house cusp, since it's on Leo, is that still at 9 degrees. And here, I think when it comes to colleges and universities, and the daily activities that happens at colleges and universities, I really think here is where people are going to probably see in the news or something about some type of, it's going to be a spotlight, some way, shape, or form on colleges and universities, or even someone who is a professor at a particular university, maybe for their accomplishments and what it is that they do, or it may be due to maybe a bit of unfairness they've expressed when it comes to the student body. All right. Before sunrise, Luna's sextiling Mars. There's a lunar Martian sextile that is taking place before sunrise, of course. At 0700 hours, oh, pardon me. 0700 hours, 7 minutes, and 45 seconds. Luna. Still in Aries, so this is in the first house where Luna is. Luna's in the first. That first house is packed. You got Moon, Chiron, North Node, part of fortune, or pars fortuna, Mercury, Neptune, and Sol, right? So the Sun, Neptune, Mercury, part of fortune, North Node, Chiron, and Moon are all in the first house here. They're actually all in the first house, because we see that the second house cusp is at 1 degree, Taurus, 49 minutes. So technically, right, it's all happening in the first house. And here, I think the people will be able to express some wounded healing that moves them forward out of their comfort zone to be able to find something fortunate and healthy for their own way of thinking, to better institute something better for their own hearts, their own self-expression. Alrighty, so for the self-expression to be better instituted and communicated, there's something very fortunate that will take people out of their comfort zone to be able to express the wounded healing, so that their subconscious mind will be, suited for taking on either foreign concepts and ideas for themselves, or also being able to have an idealistic travel in the mind that better helps them take on new self beginnings. All righty. And that's all sextiling Mars here. Mars is in the 12th house at 21 degrees. Aquarius, 49 minutes, still within the astrology degrees. And this is where people I will, be able to actively make sudden changes in the isolated feelings that they may have within themselves, and be able to better express themselves and the ideals that they've studied, and be able to allow themselves to, 9 times out of 10, not necessarily lose their mind and have dementia, but be able to travel high above whatever the current issue may be for them. All right. Luna is void of course for 13 hours and 20 minutes after this last aspect here. So that means between 7:08 or 7:07:45 anti-meridian Eastern to about 8:28 p.m. make no major transactions. So you guys know moon void of course is buyer's remorse. Whenever you hear me talk about moon void of course, plan to make all your transactions prior to the moon going void of course if you can help it. All right. So you can avoid the buyer's remorse. However, Luna will ingress its exaltation sign, right? Taurus. So we have Venus who rules Taurus as well as Libra. But Venus is in its exaltation sign in Pisces, while Luna is in its exaltation sign, Taurus. All right. And I'm going to breeze through these real quick. All right. These last three. All right. So Luna ingresses Taurus at about 2000 hours, 28 minutes, and 2 seconds. It's there within the 7th house, right? So here, while we're at home with relatives, we can be able to have an exalted exchange, an exalted pairing of values, and really see that there isn't much of a difference once sincere comprehension in how what's being valued is related to one another. I think here's where, you know, your value system with your loved ones, your relatives, your family, especially when it comes to property, I think here is where everyone can be heard, provided everyone decides to have an open mind to be heard. All right. I think also here, it wouldn't be too bad if, like I said, I know the planting season isn't really said to happen after Sun ingresses Aries. However, I don't think it would be a bad idea to maybe plant a few things, considering, especially once the moon gets to about 25 degrees Taurus, you might could, you know, start germinating some seeds, so to speak. Prepare to make yourself have some sprouts there. All right. Then Luna is sextile Venus. Look at that. Both of them are exalted. I think this is going to be a really awesome 12th of March here, guys. Right? So that's a sextile between those two. So with that being said, Luna at 1 degree, Taurus 30 minutes in the 6th house, Venus at 1 degree, Pisces 30 minutes in the 4th, right? These are 3 houses away. And again, the communication between family about daily routine, there's going to be, you know, a height in the conversation that's really going to be centered around spiritual values. And here is where, you know, the elders are going to have to turn their hearts to the youth, and the youth are going to be able to turn their hearts to the elders in the way of actually sharing what may have been missed by them in order for there to be a union between knowing the path and walking the path. All right. Because, you know, elders tend to know the path if they're honest. And the youth will have to walk the path with their agility, so to speak, and being youthful in their movements. All right. So I actually see that that's what's actually taking place there. It's definitely going to be an conversation exalting spiritual values between loved ones, right? And I think it's going to be a very healthy conversation. All right. Next, we have Luna squaring Pluto. All right. So there's a lunar Plutonian quartile taking place. And this lunar Plutonian quartile that's taking place, Luna's there at 1 degree. Scorpio. Oh, hold on. I think I moved a little too fast on that. Forgive me. There we go. This is what we want to see for the 12th, right? Luna's at 1 degree. Taurus, 31 minutes in the 6th house. Pluto, 1 degree. Aquarius, 31 minutes in the 3rd. All right. And here with this particular quartile, we can stimulate here. We can thoroughly stimulate our thoughts, right? And maybe even make this transformational sudden change in our thinking so that we can really have what's necessary, an exalted subconscious thought pertaining to our routine. What does that mean? And for those that want to hear it in layman's terms, here we can really make a solid decision and the changes we want to make. If there was ever a window to make some type of change, some window to, have a bit of tenacity, stick-to-itiveness pertaining to a decision, it would be great to take that now. I think the mind will be very suited to be able to do so, especially with Luna coming off of that sextile with Venus, which means that Venus is applying a semi-sextile to Pluto. So there's definitely a growth opportunity there taking place in the sudden changes of people's values, right? And the transformation. You're going to probably see people do and say some things that you never thought they would have said or done. But, everyone is having an experience a certain way, and the universe is making sure there's a divine balance that is taking place. All right. And lastly, for the 13th, we have a sunrise. That sunrise is taking place at 0700 hours, 24 minutes, and 24 seconds. Again, the reason why I'm saying an hour ahead, because we're compensating for the daylight savings time that took place allegedly on the 10th March 2024. That was Sunday. All right, with this Sunday coming, 23 degrees Pisces, 23 minutes is where the sun is for the 13th. 23 degrees is an Aquarian degree. I was about to say Uranian, an Aquarian degree. All right, so. And the sun ruling over the 6th house, because Leo's there in this tropical regiomontanous house system, is at 10 degrees. So very Saturnian in types of like rulership energy of those degrees, pertaining to Aquarius and Capricorn, right? Aquarius degree is 23 degrees, Capricorn degree is 10 degrees. Here's where when we spotlight the things that are essential to share in our daily routine, I think this is where people are going to, if not forced to make changes, there's going to be a further unveiling happening for people and recognizing the sense of community that is paramount for everyone to be an actual loving kinship unit, family unit, right? It's paramount. That's being recognized. And I think even here is where people will definitely see, all right, as they rise on this particular Wednesday, all right, that will be the order of the day, all right, sharing the essentials, right? Or there will be something that will be shown to them, or you'll see it on your phone, or you'll see it on the television, right? Right? You'll see something about sharing essentials. You won't be able to avoid it that day. All right. You might even wake up to hearing about it for those of you still listen to the radio. All right. Luna is sextiling Saturn way after sunrise. And it's taking place at 1500 hours, 29 minutes, and 58 seconds. All right. Luna's at 11 degrees, Taurus, 28 minutes. Saturn is at 11 degrees. Pisces, 20 minutes. Luna is there in the 10th house, and Saturn is in the 8th. All right. They're 3 houses away, of course. Here is where, the values in the relationship, right? Really valuing the structure and the, and things that are innovative in how resources are shared amongst relatives. What is going to actually take place here, like people collectively will be able to share right? Kind of an equal standing. This is where the whole big I, little u is neutralized. All righty. And there's going to be an importance recognized where one who may be good at one thing, but not good at another, particular relative or loved one or someone that ye may be connected to will compensate for what ye lack and vice versa. And I really see this here is it's a theme that I've been seeing, and that theme overall has been correcting, politicians, judges, attorneys, people in so-called federal, state, and local government. That's one thing, and the second thing is, loved ones, family members, really quashing all disagreements and beefs based on outdated beliefs, right? I really see that that's taking place so that there can be a thorough comprehension and analysis pertaining to what's actually taking place in these days and time. Lastly, Luna is conjunct Jupiter. And that's taking place at 1900 hours, 12 minutes and 20 seconds. 1900 hours, 12 minutes and 20 seconds. Again, compensating for the alleged daylight savings time taking place on the 10th. And so this last transit for the 13th, March 2024, Luna and Jupiter are here in the 8th house, right? Mother Sahar says, indeed. They're in the 8th house at an Arian degree, right? 13 degrees is an Aries degree. 13 degrees Taurus, 8 minutes. Very interesting about 13 degrees Taurus, too. I don't do this often, but I want to show you guys something here. 13 degrees Taurus, right? Circulation of money, unfortunate for marriage, right? So here is where, the people will collectively expand about, the value in joint accounting energy, joining energies together. People will actually see the detriment in not having the mindset that's within harmony with nature, because a lot of people have their minds wrapped around animal husbandry, wrapped around working for somebody else that's foreign from your family in order to have things. I think that is why a lot of people are in the detriment that they are, especially when, if you guys check, different news postings, there are a lot of people losing quote unquote jobs out there, right? Or a lot of different companies are laying people off, or they're getting rid of certain parts of their companies where people can no longer be quote unquote employed with those companies. Now, I think here is where the people are going to actually magnify the importance of joint account energies. And that joint account energy, quote unquote, could just simply be people putting their minds together and their resources together in order to make sure there's a consistency in providing a means to an end, right? And I know a means to an end is technically a definition for quote unquote finance. However, finance isn't necessarily some metal coin, and especially isn't some fiat currency, all righty, made on bond paper, all right? So I'd like to thank you all for joining. Brother Hasan Ghazi Obey. I'm going to yield. Got that Amiki Curiae group to get on in with Malika and Sunny and the rest of the Amiki Curiae for Lawful Living. Guys, do not forget and make sure you remember that next day, all righty, next day is the Nutrition Fruition with Mother Sahar L. You guys are definitely not going to want to miss Nutrition Fruition with Mother Sahar L. All right. Make sure you guys all show, and make sure you be there. Make ye donations to it's the dollar symbol, Caduceus symbol, or dollar symbol, OurAstrologyStreet. Make sure you guys are there. All right. And it's going to be via this Zoom that I'm on now. However, it will not be live at all. It will not be live. right? So Mother Sorrel is presenting Nutrition Fruition, and I look forward to reading her bio when this goes down. Make sure there's room for me to save on my Zoom clouds, and then I'll put it in a Google Drive, even for those, if you guys missed it and you want access to it. I'm pretty sure there'll still be donations for it also. Right. With that being said, I look forward to seeing you guys after Lawful Living's advanced strategizing for the advanced course tomorrow. Kind of a bit of PMAP in a little bit, right? So after Lawful Living tomorrow is when we're going into Nutrition Fruition. And with that being said, guys, I love ye all. Thank you all for joining me for our 7-day Tropic Medical Astro Weather Report. When you go to get your victuals, make sure you affirm and speak health and wealth over that which you're going to ingest and digest. And I look forward to, like I said, seeing you all for Lawful Living as well, especially for Nutrition Fruition. When you go to rest and recharge well. This is where I say to you all, I love you all. Namaste, namaste, namaste. Islam, 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 y'all. Peace and love. Peace.